What an honor and privilege it is for me to come today to stand in this sacred space to share with you a few opening remarks regarding Black History Month here at the university. But before I do that, I do want to, first of all, thank God for the invitation extended to me through Mrs. Val Ross and Mr. Julian Gildner, to all who participated in helping make this program a success. And let's give the gospel choir one more hand as they have blessed us today. Thank you to all the program participants, and particularly Sean Higgins for that wonderful introduction. It is a joy for me to be back here at my alma mater, and so glad to see some very familiar faces, Dr. Cole, Dr. Jushian, Dr. Glisson, and so glad to have with us the chancellor of this great university, Chancellor Jones. Let's bless God for each of them. And to Lottie Dottie and everybody, it's just good for us to be here. Not too far from this place stands a bronze monument that memorializes James Meredith and the university's integration some half a century ago. The bronze statue shows the 29-year-old Air Force veteran walking through the doors of a once closed to him and to all of Mississippi's native sons and daughters kissed by nature's sun. Though a moving symbol, the monument does not showcase the defiance of our closed society. Does not show us the defiance of Democratic Governor Ross Barnett or the angry mob drunk with rage that sought to terrorize Meredith at night. Nor does it show us the myriad great cloud of witnesses that were in Jackson and throughout Mississippi praying for Meredith's safety and praying that the back of white supremacy will be broken that night. Meredith came to this campus believing in his own words that he was called to come to the holiest temple of white supremacy in America and to end it. We thank God for the courage of Meredith, but we also understand that Meredith was not just the first to enroll and graduate from the university, the first Black to do so, but he was also the first, not the last. Because of Meredith's courage, many others would walk through these open doors to attend the state's flagship institution of higher learning. In 1962, there was just one Black that was able to attend this school. Now, as I read, there are a little more than 16% of the student body comprised of African Americans. What a mighty God we serve. And so today we not only celebrate Meredith and those wonderful Black students from yesteryear, but we celebrate each of us who in our various ways made our stride toward freedom and came through doors once closed to us, now opened for us. And Meredith and these African Americans who benefited from his charge are not the only ones who've been blessed and been made blessings, because we understand that by him opening the doors and making the doors open to African Americans, he also helped open the doors to all non-white students, helping the university, the state, and the nation to see that yellow, brown, Black, and white should all be precious in our sight, just as they are in the eyes of God. And through these courageous acts, we together have helped turn this good Southern university into a great public and global university. Almost 13 years ago, I too walked through these open doors opened to me by another. And I came here as a public educated minister, a Black man from a central Mississippi railroad town, full of hope and desire that I too could make history. Just a few months before that, I had borne witness to the fact that our university made history by electing its first African-American student body president. And as soon as I came to this campus, I marched my way through the student union upstairs to go to the student union's associate student body offices to ask, how may I be a part of what God was doing in student government? I quickly got involved in student government, and before I knew it, there were all these various moments where this school, this university, became a laboratory for my leadership. I was sharing earlier with Professor Alexander that it seemed like almost every fall semester there was some racially insightful incident. And Dr. Ross and many others remember every fall something happened where there was tension between black and white, and so it was called upon us students to lead the way, particularly for untenured professors who couldn't get their hands dirty in the fight. And we had to stand and declare that this would not be the university of yesteryear. This would not be a university of our plantation past. But this would be a great public institution, and thank God that students and faculty and then Chancellor Kyatt understood we could not no longer be a product of the Confederacy, that we could no longer be the institutional and intellectual framework in this state for white supremacy, that we had to be a different university. And so we marched, we prayed, we gave speeches, we strategized, sometimes even without the support of friends and with the animosity of foes, believing that we were here by the providence of God to do something here and now to make a difference. That was 13 years ago. And I believe that here today, 150 years after the emancipation of slaves, 50 years after the March on Washington and the death of Medgar Evers, you are here because you've been allowed to walk through these doors once closed, not simply to pledge your favorite sorority or fraternity, not simply to wait for Thursday or Friday night or Saturday night to go to your favorite club, not simply to walk across the stage in May or April to receive your diploma, but to do something here and now to make a difference. To be a rebel with a cause. Go Black Bears. To know that there is a cause greater than yourself, just like Meredith before us, just like my generation before you. We are called to not only be the recipients of history, the students of history, but to be the makers of history. After what happened in November 6th of last year, we know that we have an opportunity here and now to continue that great stride toward freedom. And I stand as a proud alum of this school to celebrate those who are still in the fight, the students and faculty and our great chancellor who continues to understand that we cannot be damned to the past. We must always yearn for the future. William Faulkner was right when he said that the past is prologue. Prologue, not paralysis. Our past should not keep us back in 1848. Our past should not even keep us in 1962, but we have a glorious future if only we would believe that we here and now can be rebels with causes greater than ourselves. Together, black and brown and white and yellow, old and young, can help the South rise again. But this time, not the South of the old Confederacy, but a South that rises with liberty and justice for all. And you have been chosen to come to this great institution because we understand the role that it has in history and the role it has in making history. And so you are here to do your part, just like we have done in years past. And so I ask of you, fellow rebels, to always and in every place rebel against notions of African American inferiority, to rebel against notions that we are the best we can be, to rebel against the notion that all the work is done and there's no more work to be done. May the God of our weary years, and may the God of our silent tears, he who has brought us thus far along the way, continue to empower us here and now, in this moment, in this day, to not only be the celebrators of history, but to make it, so that one day, in some near or distant future, someone will write of us and say, we too kept the door open for those not permitted to come through these doors. And so today I celebrate you. I thank God for all that has occurred in these last 50 years. And I look forward to many of you in the next 50 years making even greater history, because all of us stand on the shoulders of giants who knew they had a cause greater than themselves. Continue to rebel until this university, this state, and this nation becomes all that God intended it to be. May God bless and keep you. Amen.